Welcome to the risk assessment video for the Workplace Violence Prevention Program. As a manager, you have now had training on amendments to Ontario's Occupational Health and Safety Act, dealing with workplace violence and harassment. As part of the changes to the law, managers in administrative and academic departments are required to complete a risk assessment worksheet. These worksheets can be found on the Environmental Health and Safety website at carleton.ca/EHS. The deadline to complete the risk assessment worksheets is April 30th, 2011. Once complete, you must send them to Tony Lackey, Manager, Risk and Insurance, at tony_lackey@carleton.ca or to room 603 in Robertson Hall. It is important to keep in mind that 1. The purpose of the worksheet is to identify risks that workers perceive in the workplace, so managers must include their employees in the process. And 2. Some departments have more than one location, and some locations may pose a greater risk for workplace violence than others. It may be beneficial to complete a risk assessment worksheet for each location rather than just one for the department. The risk assessment worksheet is made up of 3 parts: a general assessment of the physical environment, employees' knowledge and use of existing safety programs, and types of work and conditions that may pose a risk. I will now walk you through how to complete a risk assessment worksheet. Part 1 is general assessment of the physical environment. The first question in this section is, do workers in their department have any concern about workplace violence pertaining to the physical environment? Examples of risks could be lighting, entry controls, door locks, or the interior design of an office with hidden areas. If your department has areas of concern, then check the Yes box. If there are no concerns over the physical environment, then check No. If you checked Yes, list the concerns in the space provided. Please provide as many details as possible about the location and the nature of the risk. For each concern listed, please recommend any specific action that would mitigate concern. For example, the concern identified is poor lighting in a storage room in the department. The specific control recommended could be improved lighting in the storeroom. Part 2. This section deals with employees' knowledge and use of existing safety programs available on campus. In this section, as a manager, you are asked to pull your staff on each safety program available. On the left-hand side of the page is a list of safety programs available to workers. For each program, determine the number of workers who are aware of the program and place the number in the Yes box. Place the number who are not aware of the program in the No box. In the column that asks, have workers in your area used the program? Determine how many workers have used the program and put the number in the Yes box. Place the number who have not used the program in the No box. The next column asks how often staff use the program. The form gives 3 options: frequently, often, and seldom. Survey the workers on frequency of use of the program and put the number of responses beside each option. Repeat the above process for each program listed. Part 3. Identification and assessment of specific risk factors. This area looks at types of work and conditions that may pose a risk. In this section, you are to review the list of specific risks. If the risk exists, indicate so by checking the Yes box. If it does not exist, check the No box. If the risk exists, rate it as high, moderate, or low. For details on risk categories, please refer to the chart on the last page of the worksheet. Managers should answer based on their knowledge and experience. The risk category is determined by establishing the severity of the risk, should the incident occur. Use the risk assessment method chart to assess the level of severity, which is rated as high, score 3, moderate, score 2, or low, score 1. Next, determine how often the incident could happen using the same chart. There are 3 levels: regularly, score 3, occasionally, score 2, or rarely, score 1. Add the severity and frequency scores together. The total gives you your category of risk, which you will fill in on the worksheet. Here's an example. Some of your employees work at a service counter responding to inquiries from the Carleton community. Occasionally, these employees deal with irate customers, and there's potential for physical confrontations. When assessing this situation, we first determine the severity. As the risk for physical harm is present, the severity be rated as high with a score of 3. Next, we would rate the frequency using the chart. The risk of an incident of physical violence occurs occasionally, which is scored at 2. We add the severity score 3 and the frequency score 2 for a total of 5. Using the risk assessment method chart under the column titled Category of Risk, a score of 5 puts the risk in the moderate category, and this is recorded beside the risk box. Complete this process for each of the risks on the list which you have identified as being present in your department. Be sure to complete all of the contact information at the top of the risk assessment form. Completing the risk assessment worksheets is a key component of the workplace violence risk assessment process. Information received, along with additional information obtained from other sources, will be used to rank and prioritize areas of risk. The Occupational Health and Safety Act requires that the results of the risk assessment are reported to the university's Health and Safety Committee and senior management. Thank you for participating in Carleton University's Workplace Violence Prevention Program. For more information, please visit carleton.ca/EHS.